I believe public service is something that we all need to take part in. I believe that there are instances where we need to provide a voice for the community and do our part to make our communities better. I've always believed that it was my calling in particular to serve the community. That's why I became an attorney and wanting to help those that could not help themselves legally. And so I just believe that everybody in the community should do their part in terms of serving the public. There's been a couple of struggles. One, not being taken seriously. Uh, Other times where I have been mistaken for a staff member and not a representative. Other times where I've believed that in terms of not being taken seriously, maybe some not believing that I'm intelligent enough. So I could either go in one of two ways. I could get angry and resentful, or take those experiences and really take that energy and focus and really just strive to do well in what I do. And so I just try to turn the negative into a positive and really just take the talents that I have, the help from my staff, and just try to do the best that I can and really shine at the legislature. And I think that we've been successful in that way. I think one of the most important skills is networking. I can't stress that enough. When you attend meetings or dinners or luncheons, get to know the people in the room. Make those relationships. It's so important to network and create your own type of Rolodex of people that you meet, because in the future, knowing people in different industries, that's what's going to get you ahead in life. And so, number one, networking. Number two, constantly reading and being up to date with what's going on in the world, in the state, in the city that you live in. Always be in the know. Don't go off by what social media tells you. Take the time to research, find out what your passion is, master that passion, and just, be a walking book of knowledge. So networking and just always being in the know. I reach out to women to put them in roles of leadership. I found it very important that my staff reflect female role models. So in this legislature, for example, there's not a lot of female chiefs of staff, and I wanted to definitely have a staff of women. That way to help propel them in their future if they want to continue serving in some capacity, but I wanted to expose them to positions of leadership. I also make it a point to have relationships with female elected officials in San Antonio, particularly city council. That way that we can work together to ensure that we provide opportunities for young women or other women, whether it be on boards, on commissions, and affording those opportunities so that the community reflects the female leadership that we definitely need. So I would recommend, number one, don't be afraid to reach out to women in leadership for opportunities. Definitely figure out a way how to connect other women in areas that you see that there's opportunity. Open up those doors, give them support. One of the things I enjoy doing is, there's young women that reach out to me to visit with me for advice, if it's over coffee or in my office, talking about what they want to major in college, asking how they can get into the legislature. So I appreciate that they take the initiative to reach out. Sometimes they get intimidated, but every time I go and I meet with young women, I said, here's my card, don't be afraid to reach out. And so I think it's always opening the door and giving your hand to those women and pulling them up. And so I think it's good to always afford other women those opportunities and to not be afraid to ask and also to give those opportunities. I would love one day to see a female Speaker of the House in the Texas legislature. Women, I would love to see so many more women running for office. One day a female governor, lieutenant governor. So I think definitely, I think the path is there, and it's just encouraging women and giving them the confidence to know that elected office is an option. It may be, if not as an elected official, it may be in policy. Again, women taking the lead as female chiefs of staff for senators, for representatives, and definitely roles of leadership in Texas government. And so I can see it happening. It's slowly evolving, but I'm hoping one day that it's going to be the norm to just have a lot of women stepping up to either run for office or to take positions of leadership. I think definitely being a Latina in my community, my cultural identity, I think it has. I have looked at other former female Latina elected officials, for example, Senator Leticia Vandepute. You had Hope Andrade, who was a former Secretary of State. When I looked at them before I sought office, I looked at them and said, I could do this too. And they showed that any Latina, any young girl could be in that position if they worked hard enough. And so I hope that I could do that for the next generation, opening those doors. And I think in terms of loving my culture, bringing in a perspective to the legislature, what it means to be Latina, to be female in Texas, I think gives another perspective to some of my colleagues who may not come from that background. And I think it opens up, a definite conversation, a definite perspective, and so one that's unique. And so, yeah, bringing in a different perspective on things.